The Rocketeer. 1991, which is, I thought, actually earlier than I thought it was. I thought it was like mid-90s. I didn't realize it was 91. But in Los Angeles, 1938, during his first test flight, Cliff comes across a chase and is shot down. Turns out it was over a high-tech jetpack that has war-sized applications to it. So now he's trying to run from the mob, the FBI, henchmen, and the Nazi regime just to keep himself safe. When was the last time you watched this?
I watched it again like this afternoon. It was awesome.
Did you watch it? No, but I'm saying like before we watched it for this. When was the last time you watched it?
This is once a year actually.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool. So I hadn't watched this since I was a kid because I think I watched it a couple times when I was a kid, and one of the movies that just stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
The costume's cool. My childhood me was like, that's a cool helmet.
Very much so.
Jetpack's cool. The aesthetic's cool.
Leather jacket, brown leather jacket.
Yeah, it's simple but like dope.
Fireproof boots.
Yeah, that bronze helmet with the thing at the back and
his tail, man, he's just gone.
Yeah, and it's better than I remember, to be honest with you. I enjoyed it more this time because I actually understood what was going on. When I was a kid watching, it's just some guy in a jetpack, right? You don't really understand the ins and outs and like what even a Nazi is. It's like that came out like I wish they didn't put that. It's funny because I put that in the
I was like, that's a good twist though. That when you find that out, I was like, that's a good.
But when you read it on like IMDb or anything, they say it right there.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I was like, why'd you say that?
Because
why'd you say that?
Part of the reason like why this movie works so well is like all the characters are amazing in it. Like they all play their roles to a T. But maybe the MVP is Timothy Dalton playing Neville, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Who is the turncoat?
Chief from Doom Patrol. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, that's where he's from. Oh, no way. He plays he's a slimy bad guy.
I mean, he's Bond as well. Like Dalton's been around. He's got some good stuff under his hat. Maybe we should just do casting since I'm already in it.
Yeah,
we're talking about 1991 Rocketeer, directed by Joe Johnston, who also went on to direct Captain America, the First Avenger. So you can see his styles like evolving and basically, I think, wrote the book on maybe superheroes or like maybe this vein of superheroes because there's a lot that current superhero movies have today. Billy Campbell as Cliff, the lovely Jennifer Connelly as Jenny,
lovely.
Alan Arkin as Peavy, Timothy Dalton MVP as Neville Sinclair, Paul Sorvino, look at that, as Eddie Valentine, Terry O'Quinn as Howard Hughes, Ed Lauder, as Fitch, James Handy as Woofy, Robert Miranda as Spanish Johnny, and John Polito as Bigelow. Let's get into it. Oh, shout outs to Margot Martindale, who plays Millie.
Yeah, that was funny. That was cool. Man, like this is
Clint Howard plays
Mark. It's a fun movie. I'll be honest with you right now, I didn't really like Cliff as a hero. He came across as a bit of a dick. Like, he was almost too handsome. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that's why you didn't like him? I thought he was too dumb. I don't know.
Yeah, dumb. Maybe there's something that I didn't like about him as a hero. He's kind of like this big, I don't know, something. I couldn't put my finger on it.
But that's why I love the relationship between him and Peavy. Like it's a movie about their friendship because like what he lacks, Peavy's got, and what Peavy lacks, he's got, right? So like they're meeting each other kind of at the perfect points in their career because Peavy was a pilot, then now became a mechanic and kind of a genius in that, right? But at a certain point, let his personal life fall the wayside and just dedicated himself to his craft. Then you have Cliff, who's kind of like bumbling, but still like a brave, the thing they say about like brave, like you're to be brave, you have to be dumb, right? So he's big barrel chested and just like, I don't care, I'm gonna go do it and like run into a fire if he needs to run into a fire, right? Proving more so that like he's a pilot because essentially he's like the daredevil of this time because planes, oh my gosh, what's a plane? And that's why I love this movie for like set design and like the time that they chose. There's such intricacies to like how they built those old school planes, which I completely appreciated. And like as you grow older, you get an eye for different things. So like looking back at this type of movie with a Zeppelin in it, which is amazing too. Like that whole Zeppelin scene was great. I love the fact that you have the movie's anchored by this friendship between these two guys who essentially have to come together to make the perfect superhero, which is the Rocketeer.
accidentally too. It just kind of happens, and there's no superpowers. It's just a guy with a jetpack, but
Hey,
it's more
that's
like
that's a superpower. That's like the first man having a lighter. Like
yeah, no, but
you're God.
it reminded me of like a Batman type thing, like a situation. He was more of he was a symbol, like it was
Okay.
like,
Yep.
and it became a symbol very quickly too. He didn't like they just saw him that one time at the test drive, the test flight thing,
Yeah.
and then he just became like, oh my god, it's the Flying Man, it's the Rocketeer, and now they come up with his
I'm
name.
laughing because it has many cutscenes as is to like a little newsy reporter be like extra new Rocketeer man. So it's like newspapers like constantly like, oh crap, like we have blurry pictures of like this weird alien artifact.
But those scenes really helped build the mythos, which is awesome because he's only the Rocketeer for a couple days, really.
Yeah, like, legit. Like he just got this. They tested out pretty fast. It like kills Lucky's head, and they're like, "Let's get a helmet." He's like, "All right, I'm in it."
Yeah.
But I love how like headstrong and dumb he is because the first time he uses it and he crashes down. He crashes into a swamp. And he's like, I like it. Like he immediately, like he's got the drug. Like he knows what it is to be this symbol already, and he wants more. So like, it's a charming movie, man.
It is, and like it's smart too. Like in the opening scene, they foreshadow the gum. Like so, it's like nothing is just. It's not. There's nothing really random in it. It's like it's all plotted out nicely. They wrote it out well. It all makes sense. It doesn't stay long. It's an hour and a half. It's fun. The characters and Jennifer Connelly's character is great because they keep grinding her down like, oh, it's the woman in the 30s, right? Like but she kind of keeps
she rises up. Yeah, she and
constantly.
she's pivotal in like certain places. Like she doesn't do certain things. Like
and her acting is like
not gonna come around.
Yeah, her acting is like vulnerable, but like she's still like resourceful in the end. Like even the last scene when she is with Neville, it's like you're not sure if she buys it or not. Like there's no way she buys it, right? But it's like, wait a second. So that's her acting, right?
But they've pieced out that whole kind of through line throughout her story of just like her allure to Hollywood and becoming like this big actress and stuff, and like, oh, Sinclair is the way that I get into it. So like they big that up well enough that you question like, is she gonna turn to the dark side, right? That's
exactly. That's what and that goes back to how it's written and how it's paced and how it's laid out. Like they you could tell that putting this movie together, they took care. They were like, this has to make sense. It has to be real. And some of that stuff's funny, like.
Oh, this movie's incredibly funny. There's a lot of hilarious movies.
Like one of the first notes I have is white privilege is punching a cop in the face. Like he just like, as they're trying to haul him away, Cliff just slugs the cop, and all he does is get like pulled back a bit. Like there's no repercussions for that. It's just that cop comes back in the end. It's kind of like, oh, you again, huh?
Yeah, the Sinclair like older grocer rich dude who's like, ooh, I'm doubly charmed, and he's looking down her like her dress when they're at the dinner, and he's like, come, let me talk to you, my little come, let me talk to you, my little kumquat. And I was like, what? Like that's how you want to talk to her. Drop Dead Yo Weasel made me laugh. Like there's just like these, because of the lingo and the time and the way that
where's your stunt man now?
Yeah, that was a good one. Sinclair's like, I do my own stunts. Punch. Like those are good. It's played up and it walks the line between not too cartoonish, but doesn't take itself so seriously that you think it's a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, because there's a bit of a contrast. There's some cartoony fun, like, but then there's stuff that makes sense. Like you were talking about earlier when the statue. Like I appreciate that they used a statue to test drive the jetpack before putting it on Cliff.
Right. Yeah.
But like the statue flies away and comes right back to the exact same spot with no tether. It just ends up. It's kind of like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense.
No.
But why it's up in the air does make sense. So I'll let it slide, right? Or like how PV builds the slickest helmet in like an evening.
Yeah.
Just like out of the blue, I was like, doesn't really make sense, but I'm gonna let it ride. So there's a lot of like forgiving this movie because it's charming. It's like, you know what? None of that makes sense, but I don't care.
How Cliff's pants, boots, and entire backside don't burst into flame constantly every time using the jet. It's like, all right, cool. Like we'll just go let this go because
whatever, man. Nobody cares.
And like it's got at least fun little things built in. Like they go to the movies and you see that little Hitler propaganda commercial, and then even down the line when they meet Harold Hughes, you get the little Nazi insert cartoon. I was like, this is like interesting and kind of fun stuff to include in a movie that's in 1991, right? Like Disney was really going for it. And I feel like because of the time, you could take more chances because it's so easy to be like Nazi bad, everything else good. The fact that the mob gets to turn on the Nazis to be like
that's
heroes.
amazing. Yeah, yeah. And they become like the backup in the end.
Yeah, like you got the Tommy guns to just killing out Nazis, right?
I also enjoy like at the ending too how Buddy just had a whole Nazi platoon just waiting in the bushes.
Yeah,
like they just came out of nowhere.
Well, you saw when the Zeppelin shows up and all of them like it's like we have the girl, we'll get the rocket, right? Like dude rolls deep. Like talk about Hail Hydra, like literally Hail Hydra.
He is. He's like Red Skull in this, isn't he?
Yeah. I love the fact that in the middle of the movie, like there's like a Robin Hood whole like action scene sequence going on, and amazing. Like his cover is I have to play a hero, essentially, but I am the villain. So like he turns out to be the sheriff of Nottingham as opposed to the Robin Hood for this type of story.
Oh, Neville with his little thing, and like the one woman can't act. She's like, oh, she's the niece of the director, and it's like line.
And then the director's like, acting is like acting you're not acting.
yeah.
And she comes back and then she like delivers the line better and like, yeah, right on.
Yeah.
But then the comedy scene of that whole scene is Cliff is in the back and he touches, so they get a perfect shot for this movie that they've been doing take after take after take. And finally when they get the good take with the actress actually doing what she needs to do after doing the entire action sequence for Robin Hood to be on the table in front of all the knights and everything, Cliff's in the back and he just touches the wall and it falls down. And he's like, I'd like to see Miss Jenny Blake. Like has no frame of reference of like this is bad and like I should be more apologetic. Like he's a big lummox. Like that's the word.
Maybe that's right. Maybe that's right. He's kind of big and dumb, so it makes him unlikable. It's like, man, come on, you just messed up your girl's chance to.
But you're supposed to like the big dumb jock, right? Like with the heart of gold.
What was a big dumb villain? What is, like that one goon who's like
Goon Hall of Fame with the face.
Yeah.
Who has my first appearance is amazing because he lights a match in front of the guy's face to like see if it's the guy's face. Does it, blows it out, and then proceeds to like break his bones in a hospital where the nurse is stationed and the cop out there don't hear it because they think it's the TV, and then he starts really like screaming out. They run and it's too late. As he scoots off, the goon scoots off on the ledge. I laughed. He's in my
scoots off.
Goon Hall of Fame. Like breaks bones and then leaves on a window ledge.
Or the part where Rocketeer busts his head through the floor of the plane and scares the light. Like, was that the best idea? Because then the pilot's like, ah, he has like a heart attack.
Knocks out. But that's his first mission, right? Like he's got to be a bit of a dummy for it, right?
Yes.
And the thing that we kept talking about was this movie was such a prototype for all the Marvel movies and kind of superhero movies that we would get down the line, including pretty much Iron Man. This was Iron Man before Iron Man, and when you watch Iron Man, you can see the beats still built in the same way that this movie delivered on it. So
there's definitely similarities. I kept feeling like when I was watching this, like this is like Iron Man 0. Like it's like a prototype to Iron Man, like the Mark 1. It's
like Copperman.
Copperman. There you go. Copperman with a jetpack and some gum.
That was a fun game. You remember Jetpack?
No.
Side scroller?
Jetpack Joyride? Or just or like the old one. There's a mobile game called like Jetpack Joyride from like 15 years ago.
They're all probably the same. There's a little character, you get a little and you can shoot.
You fly. Yeah.
They got
That's what this is. He never has a gun. He just flies around.
Yeah, very, very simple, very clean, very streamlined. The most amount of like I won't say controversy, but like headsy thing in it is to include Howard Hughes, who's like an actual person who like built planes and amazing tie-in, right? Because even the test model plane that he has in his office when he calls in Cliff and PV to be like, hey man, give me back my rocket. Cliff's like, nah, and he takes it and like glides out of his office like through a window. It just like sails down. There's these little accents of charm that's embedded throughout the movie, like the way that they've kind of dolled up the lovely Jennifer Connelly in this, and like how she's kind of the girl next door. I don't know why she writes her number on a cafe so big that like goons are like, hey, that's her number, let's call her. Because if I'm Cliff, I'm crossing out like I don't want everybody in that diner to know like my cousin's number. But you can see the town is this little eco center for these two lovebirds because they're as as many ways as they can. They're cheering them on to be like, hey, Cliff, if you fuck this up, like it's your fault. So don't fuck this up, right? So no, I loved all that stuff, man. It was cool.
Oh, it's great. And then, like you said, the thing my favorite part was the mob turning. Like, wait, you some Nazi scum or something?
It's like, yeah, what's it to you? And he's like, well, listen, I may not get all my money legally, but don't forget I'm very patriotic.
Yeah,
USA,
I'm all American. Yeah,
you, and then just start opening up.
What a great turn of events. And then the Nazi platoon comes out of like the bushes, and everybody's shooting, and Rocketeer's in the middle, and then the fight in the blimp with the gum trick. Oh, great
love
stuff.
That, right? And like the villain gets the comeuppance, right? Flies away. Maybe the effects don't really hold up as much as you would want them to. Although there's a great camera scene where in his first saving, when he's trying to save the guy from the clown from the plane, they have him showing, like, they put his helmet in the camera and then did like a tracking shot over the crowd. And I was like, that's pretty ingenious to do. But anytime they tried to like actually CGI and show him flying across something, it's laughable. But to have Sinclair explode because the gum and the alcohol dripping out on fire, it was amazing, man. It's actually a feel good movie. Awesome, it's actually a feel good movie. Yeah. So, and then Hughes gives him a plane.
Watching it, I was like, because usually, not usually, but sometimes when we do these bottle cap things, I'm kind of like, I'll start watching a movie and then I'm like, I'm really not into this, and I'll be distracted ever. Right. I was glued this whole time. I was like, I was set up to start doing like work or something while I was watching it. I just sat and watched it. I was like, I'm enjoying this. I have a smile on my face. I'm like, this is fun. This is good stuff. This is like childhood Coke. Like, yay!
Yeah, and you could see
watch this again.
Like it's that early. You could see that Connolly was a star, and will go on to like be a star, right? Like those little moments surrounded by like all these.
Not her first.
No, I think first movie, right? I think she's a child star, but like early '90s, she definitely wasn't. Late '90s and like 2000s, like we remember her from. I mean, I'm gonna say the quote because I haven't said it in a long time. That's like season 1 shit, but ass to ass, and like that was her.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, that was 2000 though. No, so, she was in like Labyrinth too, wasn't she?
Yeah, this may be before this, right?
Yeah,
but I think she's more known as an 80s star than she is a 90s star, right? Like Connolly's been around, and then a whole resurgence in like in the teens, right? So to see her kind of get her starts and prove like she has her acting chops, like she outacts fucking Cliff easily.
Oh, easy.
But she's on par with Dalton, who's
their scenes together are great. Because he's like they're both, and he plays an actor too. So as he's like doing things with her, he's acting. He's playing his role as whatever his name is, but the villain. But as the villain, he's acting like he's
Sinclair.
Yeah, it's Sinclair, but he's acting like he's a hero too.
Yeah, so he's playing like, a dude disguised as a dude.
Dude, yeah, it's great. He's really good at it. Like even when he's like comforting her, he's like, "Oh no, my dear." And he's like doing these little like soft butterfly kisses on her head. I'm like, "You're so creepy." I love it. Like it works so well.
And in the back of the head, he's like, "Oh yeah, and I'm German and a spy, like and a Nazi." Like so, like, he's had levels. There's levels to it, but again, it's a very streamlined, simple story. It's like, "Hey man, we found a rocket, and this pilot wants to ride." It's like, all right, cool, man.
It's your classic MacGuffin story. I'm surprised you haven't said that yet.
Let's go. Well, I called our stuff with MacGuffin, which is in a AA episode of this one comic that we're looking for. But I'm pretty sure there's a Rocketeer comic out there too. No?
Oh yeah, there is, and there's a new show, like a cartoon. I don't know. I'm assuming it's his daughter. I don't know. It's a female Rocketeer now, and I saw it on Disney Plus. I didn't watch it, but I've seen it.
Is it animated or no? It's like.
Yeah, it's like
CGI.
It's like computer graphics CG. Yeah,
because this seems ripe for Disney to be like, let's repurpose this, but I wouldn't be mad if they're like, let's turn all of our like classic Disney live actions into animated.
Yeah,
and go flip the script on it. But
they got a lot, except not like Brer Rabbit stuff. But they got
listen, they got Brer Rabbit's not racist. It was the the freed slave who found a young white kid by the side of the road to sing "Zippity Doo Dah," which was kind of racist. Brer Rabbit, Brer Bear, and there's another animal, Brer Fox.
Brer Fox, yeah.
I don't think. Well, I gotta wait till they talk because I've seen an elephant. I've seen an elephant fly, and they speak in jive talk. So.
I think I told you this before. I can't remember if it was in an episode or if it was here, but I remember having that book when I was a kid.
All right.
And then that book just disappeared. I think my parents realized it was like, I think when they read it to me, when it like gone.
I had the Zippity Doo Dah sing along VHS, and that's the only thing they could clip from that movie was him singing that song and like the animated animals dancing around. That movie, like, can't find that movie.
No. But this movie, Rocketeer, you can find. It's on, and it was on Disney Plus too, so I watched it there. It was. Yeah, they got to bring. I don't know if they got to, but it'd be cool to bring this back in like a small way. Like, it's not like a full movie remake, but yeah, like you said, like an animated show.
But again, I don't think I'd be mad if you keep the same level of set design and costume design and era the same, and like don't try and reinvent the wheel. Like, okay, we're bringing them to the modern day. We've seen that. Stay to this time. Like, keep the charm in the 30s where you have to kind of use ingenuity. You have to put gum on a bullet hole to like plug something, because there's a charm and a wit and a sense to that, where I think nowadays we look for whatever the real fix for that problem is, but you create more problems looking for like a complex solution. Yeah, it's a simple movie, man.
I don't know if they could keep it this simple anymore. I think they just have to we have to go big and sprawling and make a universe out of the Rocketeer jetpack and the Nazi armies, but we can't call them Nazis because it's going to offend somebody. It's
they'll probably go all out with designing the jetpack, and you can't. I don't know if they use Nazis again. I don't know, man. Like, at least we're happy that we got it, right? Because it'd be another thing if we didn't.
Holds up.
This our Iron Man
holds up, and even the ending too. It's kind of like, oh, he didn't even say thank you. He's like, didn't he? That jet's yours. It's like, that plane is yours. It's like, oh.
I mean, he's basically a billionaire.
Yeah. So we rate these bottle caps. Yeah. 1, not 0 for bad, and 6 to be the best. How do you rate this down? I don't know what I just said there.
I don't know. This is a 4.5. Yeah, no.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say 4.5. I had a great time. It's not perfect, but it's a blast. That might be one of the highest ratings we've given.
Yeah, I don't want to give it a 5 because there's 5 movies out there, but this is really good, man. I smile every time I watch this movie.
Anything over a 3 bottle cap is worth watching, I think. But.
Listen, our 2 bottle caps have been hilarious because they're so bad, and some movies you have to watch because they're so bad.
Like Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing was great. Like Toxic Avenger.
No, I see. I enjoyed Swamp Thing because it was
Tyrone.
Just tried too hard.
Listen, that Goon. We started Goon Hall of Fame because of what that.
Oh, the guy with the face paint.
Yes, that dog gets blown away. It's amazing.
Yeah. And the baby with the shotgun. Yeah,
it's amazing. So some bad.
That scene is good, but
we have watched 6 to more Jean-Claude Van Damme films that have not been 6 stars.
Hang on. Those are great though. Well, do we give them 1s and 2s though? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean we like there's bad ones.
Hard Target's great.
There are bad ones in them. Nobody's infallible.
You are a fucking buffalo.
Listen, I love Leon, but Leon's terrible. Because we need more illegal UFC fighting on a tennis court.
Yeah. That was Leo. My name is Leo. We're out there.
No, okay. We have to talk about him running constantly. I gotta go watch that movie again. He runs it everywhere.
Lionheart?
Yep. Oh, the Legionnaire. Yeah.